The following segment is sponsored by the Upstate Center-for-Addiction-Treatment.
Students are adapting to a very unusual school year. Parents are trying to make everything feel normal, and everyone is dealing with COVID issues on top of their existing pressures. And experts say it's really important to focus on everyone's mental health right now. Dr. Ish Major from the Upstate Center for Addiction-Treatment is here with us this morning. Hi, Dr. Ish.
Hey, good morning, Margaret. How you doing?
Good to see you. Doctors across the country are reporting increases in patients who are suffering anxiety and depression during the pandemic. What are you seeing and what's contributing to it?
Yeah, so not only depression and anxiety, but also suicide. A lot of folks don't know this, but as of today, 1 in every 4 young people out there, that's 18 to 24 years old, has had a suicidal thought in the last 2 weeks, right? So that's a lot. That's a lot happening. So as Americans, especially, here in our culture, we don't like sitting with that uncertainty. It makes us very uncomfortable. So we always look for things to numb it up, right? We mistakenly here equate control with purpose. So when we lose that control, like the pandemic has caused us all to lose in terms of our health and our money and our jobs and, family members and knowing what's going and what comes next, we feel like we don't know what the purpose is. We start to ask that dreadful question, which is this it? Are we all, is this the only thing I'm here for? And once you start asking that question, it's a slippery slope down the road of depression and anxiety. And it's the natural manifestation of that horrible question, our depression and our anxiety. And if you're suffering from one, half of the other time you're suffering from the other, because depression and anxiety go hand in hand.
Right. And right now it's probably normal. A lot of people feel down right now, but as a friend, a parent, a neighbor, a family member, we need to look out for each other, keep that dialogue going. What are the warning signs of depression, of anxiety that we need to look for in our loved ones?
Yep, great question. So the first early indicator is isolation. People who don't feel well will withdraw from the people and the places and the things that they usually enjoy, right? We call that technically anhedonia, a lack of interest in those things that you normally enjoy. So that's the first thing we look for. We stop seeing them active on social media, less contact with friends, with family. If they're living in your house, they're probably going to be in their room all day, every day. So that's one of the first things, right? For kids get irritable. For adults get angry, because one of the other early warning signs is that our frustration tolerance gets super, super low. Everything just starts getting on our nerves, and that's one of the early warning signs. Now, some of the later warning signs are pretty obvious. Lack of energy, folks are sleeping way too much or way too little, crying spells, feeling sad for more days out of the week. If it's 4 days out of the week and you're feeling sad on 4, it's probably time to talk to somebody. Dial up a therapist. I love psychologytoday.com. They've got a great therapy finder. Put in your zip code. You can pull up everybody's picture and their specialty, call up a few folks, and see who fits.
A great time to have that conversation. And feeling, just unsettled and heavy, to a certain extent, that's normal, right?
Yep. To a certain extent, it's normal, right? It's our routines are shattered, right? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the September any of us planned. We have no idea what's going to happen with the kids back in school. What are we even going to have a football season? Nobody knows anything. And so once that routine gets broken, our brains are creatures of habit. The routine is how we know we're going to be okay. And for right now, none of us have our routine, and we're trying to settle in constantly week to week to a new one. And so that feeling of being keyed up, that's normal. Sit with it. It's okay. You're not alone.
Excellent. I know you've got a ton of things going on right now, and one of the things, you're part of the solution. You've been working with education leaders in the area so that not only they can stay open, but they can stay open safely. Tell us what you've been doing, what's happening.
Yeah, well, Margaret, uncertainty is the name of the game that we're all playing right now. So at the Upstate Center, we've been reaching out to a lot of local schools and a lot of local churches to not only help them reopen, but put a plan in place to stay open, right? A lot of places have this wait and see mindset. And that's going to get you into trouble. This is not one of those types of games that we can play catch up and expect to win, right? And so we've got to be proactive and come up with some plans, But some universities out there talking about once a month testing, not quite going to cut it. So we can help you map out a plan that is safe for you, for your clients, whether they are students, whether they're parishioners, and how you keep everybody safe.
All right. Well, the Upstate Center for Addiction Treatment, you've got a location on South Pine Street in Spartanburg, another in Anderson. People can schedule an appointment, 651-8116. What else do you want people to be thinking about today, or anything else on your mind before we go?
Yeah, so this is it kind of feels like we're in this home stretch where fall is coming for 2020, and we all are hearing more and more about this empathy deficit, right, that we've got in this country, which is the politically correct way of saying that we just don't really care that much about one another, right? So what we're talking about is indifference, right? It's a very classic defense mechanism against accountability, because we're all stretched super thin right now. There's only so much more we can take, and it's just easier to not care, or that's what we think. So for me, I found that the quickest way to shift that mood out of the depression, out of that anxiety, is to practice the opposite thought, right? You've got to think less and less about you and more about somebody else. The less time you spend thinking about how depressed and how anxious you are, and the more time you can spend thinking about helping somebody else, you're just going to feel better, right? You'd be amazed how that makes you feel. So what I want everybody out there to do today, there's a ton of people out there. Find somebody you care about. Do something nice for them. You'd be amazed how that helps you feel. And the last thing, if anybody you know or yourself is having any kind of dark suicidal thoughts, call the hotline, 1-800-273-TALK. There's folks out there who can literally talk you through it and help you get better.
Dr. Ish, you're always the reassuring voice that somebody cares. A lot of people care.
Yeah.
We look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you, Margaret.